Hey guys, welcome back to my channel and thank you so much for joining me this evening. We're going to be talking about a very important topic that is particularly interesting for me because I know I've been talking about this and I've made a lot of promises. So let's just get right into it. The 5 myths. Do I have 5 myths? Let's see. Some myths about homeschooling. And yes, I've been homeschooling for the past 5 years of my time with my second child, and I did it with my first child for about 9 months. So I'm just going to talk to you about some of the things that I've heard you guys ask me in the comments section and in person. And so let's just get right into it. All right. The first myth. It is going to ruin your relationship with your kids. Now, I know that this is something that is very controversial, and I can totally understand why people feel like it's going to be something that they're really concerned about. And I think that a lot of it comes from feeling like like people feel that homeschooling is supposed to look a certain way as opposed to how it actually is. And I spoke to one of my fellow homeschoolers about this, like, get up early, sit at a desk, and do some homework at your desk in your home. It is not like that at all. Learning is happening all the time. And one of the more interesting things that I have realized about learning is that it is something that takes place when your kids are asking questions, when you're having dialogue, and everybody has like a different learning style. And so it is your responsibility as a homeschooling parent to really capitalize and pay attention to the kinds of conversations that you're having with your child and really be creative about what some of the processes that are available to you to use and capitalize on them. Every opportunity is a learning opportunity, and it might not always seem like that, but being a participant in my child's learning has actually quite been the opposite. It has improved our relationship with both my children because it has given me an opportunity to build a sense of trust with them and also be a part of their learning and starting to understand what makes them actually tick. As a teacher, you will notice that if some of you are teachers or have background in education, you will notice that children they have a natural desire for learning, and they're natural learners, and they learn things very quickly. So capitalize on that. Every child has the desire to learn. They might not learn the way you might want them to, and I think that is where a lot of the frustration comes from with parents, is that they expect it to be this way and they need to be able to do this amount of tasks. But every child learns differently, and it is important for you as a parent to not put pressure on yourself and constantly be arguing with them about do it this way. And so once you figure out what works best for them and give them and apply a reward system, in my opinion, like, there's a lot of controversy around this. So I'm not going to get into that on this video, but if you like, I can make a video about that specifically. What are some of the homeschooling tips and tricks that might work for you in your journey? Let me know in the description down below. The second one that I found also pretty interesting that I've heard a lot too is your kids will not have a social life. Now, if you've seen me on social media, if you've seen my daughter in Facebook or Instagram, you will notice that she's doing a lot of socializing with her friends, with other kids who are sort of in a homeschool situation. If you guys know, I live in Germany, and homeschooling is only allowed up to a certain age. After a certain time, your kids have to go to school. But I met a lot of parents in some of the clubs that my daughter goes to, and in the neighborhood, and in other parent children groups. And I've befriended some of these people. I've invited them over to my home, and out of that has come a lot of pretty nice relationships for my daughter. So she has her friends that she hangs out with here, or they go out together, or we meet at their house, or they come to my house. So socializing is not actually a problem. I know a lot of people feel like you have to go to school in order to socialize, but you can take up a lot of these social situations and socializing events and activities yourself and subsidize that by becoming a little bit more of a social butterfly yourself. So take stock of that and make sure that you are um, becoming friends with some of the mommies that you might have more things in common with than others. The third one is it is expensive. I've heard this a lot. I kind of agree and disagree. Again, this comes back to creativity. There are loads and loads of online material and ideas and trips and things that you can subsidize and find online. And let me know if you guys want to do a video on that too, because there's so much information out there that you can use. There's YouTube, there's Google, and there are a lot of other portals that are specific to homeschooling and online learning. And if you're a person that doesn't like to do online learning or have your child do so much screen time, I have some ideas on that as well. Me and my daughter, we spend a lot of time in the library and in nature. I buy a lot of books, but if you don't want to buy books brand new, you can also rent them. It's cheaper to rent. And here in Germany, you get if you're under 18, you get a free library card. So you're able to really use a lot of free information in the library, which doesn't require any FaceTime if you so choose to do. It's also not expensive because you have taken over a lot of the money that you would otherwise be giving for somebody to babysit or tuition if you're living in America. Tuition for university is almost the same as it is for going to kindergarten back then. So once you take over that responsibility, you're actually saving a lot of money. Your kids don't have to worry about wearing uniforms if you're in the UK. And there are a lot of support groups and support groups and courses that you can take to help with that. And the last one I have, so now we're down to 4, right? 5 myths. You have to have a background in education. Now, I personally have a background in education. I used to teach for about 10 years, and now I teach privately online to students who want to learn English as a second language, German-speaking students. And so what I found is that a lot of the times parents don't have confidence because they don't have a background in teaching. And let me just say, that's okay, because again, there's a lot of online courses. I will be launching a course pretty soon on how to do homeschooling and teaching online. And it's a pretty new thing in Germany because of our recent situation globally, that a lot of courses and teaching and a lot of things had to take place remotely. So people had to do work from home. And I have a really great method as to what you can utilize. It's partially online, partially like an accountability scheduling for your kids. It's not regimented, but it's highly effective. And I encourage everybody to take a look at that. Stay tuned for that. It's coming soon. So what I would recommend instead of having a background in education is to attend courses on teaching and child psychology. Like, how does the brain tick? Cognitive research. Read up on these topics, because basically this is going to do you much more good than actually, like getting a degree in education or something. I think that it's better to just make sure that you guys understand the psychology behind learning, understand the the mental development process of how children learn and how they function in order to be able to reach them where they're at. It will do you a lot of good, and it will actually optimize your child's learning ability by 100%, guaranteed. So only the last one and my 5th one, I'm going to speak to this personally because I feel like it's something that I feel people think about me. And in many ways, it is very true, but not in the way that people think it is. And it is that only overprotective parents homeschool. You all know the person, I'm going to just use my hands a bit here. I hope you all can still hear me. Testing. Everyone knows that parent who is like considered the tiger mom, or the mom that is just always in her kids' space and faces. I feel like it's very necessary for you to be involved in your child's personal development. And so there's a fine line between being overprotective and just being present. Some people think that you're doing the overprotective thing because you're afraid of your child being bullied. And there's a narrative that you don't want to send your kids to school because it is not in alignment with the social, political, or religious views that you might have, which is also something that is very, very true. But it is very important for us to realize that there is no way that you can protect your child from all evils that exist out there. The only thing you can do is really prepare them to be able to stand up for themselves and to have the confidence to live the way they see it fit, while understanding that their development process is not final until they're about 25 years old. Your children will always need you. And so don't give that responsibility away and don't make light of it. I don't believe there's anything as overprotective. But if you have political or social or religious views that are not in alignment with the institutions that are supposed to be there to protect and support your child in their development, then be able to have the confidence to speak up about it and encourage your kids to do the same. A lot of these things come up because children are feeling really insecure because they want to belong. And if they don't belong to you or they're not a part of you, then they will easily be at risk, in my opinion, for belonging to the state. Why is that bad? Because the state's job is to, you know what, let me not get into that. I will just say that what I've done is to help to build up my children's confidence, self-esteem, because the peer pressure is inevitable. And you don't want your child to be in a situation where they're sacrificing who they are to become someone who other people expect them to be, because that is the ultimate issue that arises when it comes to lack of understanding of oneself and being self-aware. And when you have people who lack self-awareness, these are the people who are the most unhappiest. And I see that a lot. I used to see that a lot when I was in public education. And it's still an issue that is one of the major hindrances in children's learning. Once children have that, let me just say students have that ability to have confidence in their abilities, their ability to learn increases tremendously. I've already gone double over my time. I hope that you guys have enjoyed this video. Please like and subscribe if you enjoy my content, and please let me know in the comment section down below what do you think on this topic. See you in the next one. Bye.